is recording.
Yes.
And then we will press this
Why?
and we will say Zoom 0003. Acha. I I don't understand why you did that.
This is really happy.
Also, I'm right here in case you can't notice me just because you're vain like this and you can't wear your glasses.
Okay, first of all, okay, I'm putting in an effort.
Okay. Well, I put in an effort.
And why aren't you looking at me while I'm looking at you?
I am looking at
I
you.
can actually see him. Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look,
But the thing is, see, here were my options. I could either put lenses on, I could like look 5 degrees to the left. I don't think it's that disconcerting.
but you notice I've put in an effort as well.
Yes. Good
Chappal
job.
Spani मैंने आज. Thank you.
Applause.
But yeah, Assalamu alaikum ji.
Walaikum
Welcome back to another episode of the PS I Hate You podcast, where we hope to hate and to educate. Though lately we've not been doing much hating.
salam. Yeah, we're good people.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
But
Our parents are so proud of us.
नहीं ऐसा तो कोई भी सीन नहीं है बाबू. ऐसा तो कुछ भी नहीं है.
Sorry.
But
Our parents are so proud of me.
अच्छा. तो क्या है कि what did we want to talk about? We were kind of torn, na?
Yeah, we were torn.
We were torn. So we wanted to talk about the apparent bill, or it's a working paper right now.
I think it's just something that's been suggested.
It's been suggested to Pamela.
And hence I'm kind of like, I don't even know if we necessarily want to talk about it because it's not really anything right now, but if it happens, God forbid.
So boy, it was a scare where
It was very scary.
it was shared on social media कि ऐसा है कि एक working paper है, according to which and that pertains to YouTube creators, or the digital medias, and according to which ऐसा है कि YouTube creators would have to pay 50 lakh rupees for a license. 50 lakh for a license. And there's another caveat. If your content pertains to current affairs, then the price of the license marginally increases to 1 crore rupees. 1 crore अगर उस बॉय के पास या गर्ल के पास हैं, तो वो ऑफिस खरीद के उसको रेंट पे क्यों नहीं लगा रहा है? वो यूट्यूब क्यों कर रहा है बेचारा?
नहीं, आई डोंट नो. पता है क्या मसला ये है कि अब जिधर से हमने ये देखा था, उसमें मसला ये है कि वो जो भी प्रपोजल है, जो भी है, it had 25 pages, but I could only see the first page of it, which only had the title of it, I suppose. And then there was a snippet from an article which I don't know which website that article was from. So I don't know the details about this at all. Having said that, none of the credible news sources that I turn to have said anything about it. Bear in mind, all of them have YouTube channels.
Yes.
So if something like this were to happen, they would be the first ones to sound the alarm. So I'm gonna just reserve. I think it's a bad idea if this is how it's been suggested.
Yeah.
With that said, allegedly, if this is how it's been suggested, but I don't know if it has. And hence, and hence, I don't want to say anything about it because possibly this might not even be what they're actually recommending.
Inshallah, it is not
at
the
all
stuff of my nightmares.
Yeah, nightmares.
But इसका
नहीं तो Vimeo पे मिलेंगे कोई
अल्लाह रहम करे. नहीं, but it's not even to us. ना मापू देखो, alhamdulillah, we actually, both of us have daytime jobs.
Absolutely.
ठीक है ना? We do this. Yes, because I mean it would be
a little difficult to not have daytime jobs
and to sustain this.
Yeah.
Right. So we have daytime jobs. आप उनका सोचो that doing this full time, सही है ना? And आप उनका सोचो that have risen in economic, social standing because of the proliferation of the digital medias. And I would here like to mention obviously Irfan Junejo, right? Because I once actually, I was thinking about this. I was like, yeah, dekho, it were not the case he could put his stuff on digital or on YouTube and stuff and on Vimeo and stuff, he would have been resigned to the title of cameraman or something. You know what I mean? Or a DOP, or something much less interesting, let's say, or much less and much less lucrative than what he has now become. Because now aap dekho na, because the digital medias are so vast and they are so accessible and they are so fluid in what they allow you to do, he has essentially become an enigma. Right? They're like, oh, well, so what is he, a vlogger? Well, you can call him a YouTuber because he's on YouTube, but he's also on Instagram. So is he an Instagrammer? I don't know. But and he's not the only one. Tehmoor Salahuddin, Muru, right? And then obviously there are people that don't have quite the same amount of following. Amir Bhagat or Hamza Ibrahim has more compared to Amir Bhagat, लेकिन or Munib Adil जो इरफान भाई के साथ होते हैं, and stuff like that. So it's and these are only the people that I know of. There's so many other people that that have risen, and have been able to put their skills and talents and merits on full display because there was no 50 lakh ka barrier of entry.
I will just add to that a little bit. Now, I don't know much about Pakistan में जो honestly जो content creation का scene है, right?
आप अंग्रेज है ना?
नहीं
नहीं, हम यहाँ लोकल लोग हैं ना?
नहीं
हाँ.
I well, okay. नहीं, I'm sorry, no, but the thing is, the reason for this is very, very simple. Because I work with a brand in a brand that is based in Canada, so I'm much more aware of the content creation scene that happens over there.
Yes.
Hence, when I hear about stuff like this is kind of why I'm not commenting that much on it, because it's so incredulous for me, because I'm just like, are you serious? Like,
well,
what?
I mean, this is the country that banned YouTube.
No, it
right?
is absolutely, but and hence I was like, didn't we mature from that? But I suppose we didn't, because I'm so used to, and I realize that this is one of those things that this is, I suppose, one of my privileges, that I'm so used to the international scene where if you're talented and you're hardworking, stuff happens for you.
Yes.
Where if you put yourself out there and you have a message that resonates with people, people listen to you. Where if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, the laws are set in place to make it easier for you. And the ultimate issue I have with this, so many things, we're just going to assume that khuda na khasta this has been, whatever. We're just going to, a hypothetical,
yes, of course, yes. Right? It's a philosophical exercise.
Allegedly again, right?
Yeah, it's a philosophical exercise.
I hope that they don't do this. I don't know. And I don't want to disrespect anybody, obviously, but there's a couple of reasons because of which this is a severely bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll start with the first, which is, I think, the most important. Okay? I think Pakistan mein there are approximately 1.1 million new graduates every year. This is there's a friend of mine, she teaches at IBA. She was telling me about this. Approximately new graduates every year. And 500,000 jobs are created. Okay? That's the percentage of people who do not have prospects. Hence, the need of the hour is entrepreneurship. Okay? We need to create new jobs. We cannot rely on 9 to 5 naukri.
No.
Because there aren't enough for everybody. Simultaneously, if you look, especially in Sindh, but I'm sure in other provinces as well, the backbone of Sindhi economy has always been entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Karobar is how this province works.
Yes.
Okay? New media, digital media, whatever you want to call it, this is the most thriving new age industry, because it not only facilitates other businesses and other industries, but it has the potential to create jobs that we cannot even imagine.
No, yeah.
5 years ago, the idea that someone was a content creator didn't exist.
No,
I could exactly. And it's not that, when I was, still studying at university, people still did this as a part-time thing.
Yeah.
In Pakistan, at least.
Yeah.
So the idea that some people have been able to leverage that into a career is incredible, because it is giving hope to a lot of people who otherwise face a very desolate economic situation.
Yes.
ठीक है?
Yes.
So that's the number one problem with
Yes.
this. If allegedly, whatever,
Allegedly.
right? If something like this is even being considered,
Yeah.
that's the first reason for which this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
ठीक है? Secondly, from what I understand, they're not talking about kind of. So usually what happens is, if stuff like this has been suggested in other countries, it's usually preempted or contextualized within, okay, how many followers do you have, what are your profit margins,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So you said something very interesting when we were talking about this earlier, that the barrier to entry here is created for people who do not have the resources.
Exactly.
So then the only people who will be creating
Are the
content
people with means.
Yeah. ठीक है?
And they don't have any difficulty getting their message out
No.
anyways. And now at this point I've literally elevated it to conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
लेकिन मैं सिर्फ यही बोल रहा हूँ कि the most one of the most powerful effects of the digital media and the digital media revolution has been the rising, so to speak, of the people who didn't necessarily have were not necessarily people of means. And I'm not saying they didn't have prospects, they weren't going to get work otherwise. But would we have had a Muru, would we have had an Irfan Junejo? I don't think we would have. अगर उनको ये बताया जाता है कि भाई अच्छा अगर अगर करंट अफेयर्स का है तो 1 करोड़ रुपया की तो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, they would have just taken tried their hand at something else. They would have been like, हाँ photography या जो भी is my passion.
But जो आपने initially चीज़ बोली ना भाके, probably they wouldn't have been thriving in the way that they are now. Because if you listen to, again, I'm not, as I said, I'm so out of the loop, you guys. I have, like, when you're saying no, Muru and all, like, I know who they are, because in the past I think about some of them I've even written.
Yes.
Lekin the site that I used to write for itself is like has been dormant for like a year now. So
Which
like
is
the collective. I started a website and we were doing well, but then I just back burner completely forgot about it. But the thing is, if you go into the stories of a lot of people, and again I am making a generalization, ऐसा बिल्कुल हो सकता है कि there are lots of people who had a successful career elsewhere and then just dropped into it because of their passion.
Mubashir Luqman.
Sure. But see, again,
people like him,
the thing about Mubashir Luqman also is that he's from what I've seen, and he's not necessarily my most favorite person ever.
Of course, yeah.
But he said this very openly. He was like, there's certain things I can't say on television, and
on
I feel like
media.
So I'm over here and I'm using this platform, and that's basically what it was for a lot of people, that they felt stifled. I believe that there are various kinds of artists, talent, and whatever that didn't have a place in legacy media, and they found their footing here.
Yes.
So if this avenue did not exist for them, they wouldn't have the kind of vibrant careers that they have now, right? And again, please also, this needs to be said as well, if the purpose of this is to curb their growth in some way, I don't think that's going to be accomplished either, because the internet is very complex and it has lots of moving parts. People have been known to shut us off here, we'll find a new avenue and stuff like that, right? So one of the smart things that a lot of influencers do is that they're not just on one social media site anymore. So I don't think it's going to stifle them, the ones who are already established. But
the problem, my problem is the people they're inspiring. Right? There's so many people that I've met that are like, oh, I want to be a so and so, or I want to be better than a so and so. Why are you smiling?
Just like, I'm just thinking about this is like the stuff of my nightmares.
That's what it is. That's what it is. No, and that's why I and before starting the podcast, you said to me, you're like, because it's nothing, because it's basically fake news, we should just not do it. And I'm like, yeah, dekho, I think just our reaction, it was so visceral, and we were so upset by this.
Very.
Right? Even though aap aise dekho, alhamdulillah, we don't rely on this. I mean, filhal it's not making any money, but we don't rely on this. Is like a part-time thing for us, so we're doing other things. And yet, because I suppose we resonate with all the other YouTubers or YouTube creators, in that this is a platform or an outlet for creative expression.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what it is for most people, and that is why the reaction is so visceral. It is so from the gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna put barriers to entry on this, like,
And for what reason?
and exactly, for what reason, and who would it benefit? We are more colorful for having so many voices. अच्छा, इसमें एक जो issue है, या दो तीन जो issues हैं जो दूसरी तरफ से आते हैं कि ये ऐसा 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 law क्यों होना चाहिए. Defamation is one, because you can get on here and just say nonsense about um, anyone.
But
ये होता है सही ना, एटलीस्ट ये एक आर्ग्यूमेंट है, एंड इट्स इलॉजिकल एंड इट्स नॉट वेल फॉर्म्ड, चलो ठीक है, बट उसको उसको कर्ब करने का ये तरीका तो नहीं है ना. यू कैन लाइक, if the federal government is getting involved, you can just tell the person to not do it, and I'm pretty sure they'll be like, sir ठीक है नहीं करेंगे. You know what I mean? So एक एक वो हो गया. दूसरा, obviously there is a certain legitimacy um, that is attached to legacy media.
Absolutely.
वो I think it's becoming an archaic notion, because वही जो मैंने बोला कि through the proliferation of the digital medias, because one of the reasons for there being a lack of legitimacy in the digital medias was production value. But now, because production value is so high, because the content is so proper, for lack of a better word right now. I'm having a brain fart. I don't know why.
They're legit about this.
Yeah, they're legit about this, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the videos, and again, I've seen Irfan's stuff, I've seen Hamza's stuff, I've seen Muru's stuff, and most of their stuff, at least Irfan's and Muru's, I know for sure, but even Hamza's stuff is in 4K. Like the quality is top notch, sound amazing, all that stuff, right? So one of the reasons for the legitimacy being attached was always production value. Another one was organizational integrity, and so on and so forth. And again, those are things that can be worked into the digital medias.
Yeah.
Like, so if you establish a body to govern digital media, they can work with these creators. You don't have to do it this way, because isme aap dekho na, there's so many people that are inspired to create. And how am I to tell them? Like, I have this one friend, she recently started an Instagram channel about dance. ठीक है ना? Pakistan, Sindh, Khatun, dance channel.
Yeah.
ठीक है ना? And she's not only gonna dance, she's gonna choreograph and teach you dancing. Now, I can't dance to save my life, but I would like to learn
Yeah.
to dance, right? That's just a tangent, but really, are we going to get into the discussion that she shouldn't be allowed to do this? And if so, why? Because it's obviously, again, it's a dicey subject. कि क्यों नहीं, especially in this
To be honest, as far as the media itself is concerned, very often they have come out with certain ways to curb certain kind of content.
Yeah.
It's not just social medias. They've actually placed a lot of legacy media, as it is called, cinema, right, television, radio, under the scrutiny. And every time they've done that, I've been kind of like, I've been looking at them with a side eye, like, are you serious right now? I remember there was this, this is from the days of yore when I used to write on that website. But there was this really powerful television show called Udari, which was about children being sexually assaulted. Okay?
Yeah.
And it was a really interesting, because since then we've gone down a rabbit hole, and one of these days maybe we can talk about that as well, about how Pakistani television talks about the sexual assault of children. It's very bad taste. But this particular show was quite remarkable because it was actually co-produced by a not-for-profit organization, with the intention being that people need to understand that this happens, and that you need to if a child comes to you and tells you that something doesn't feel right, you need to
take
take it seriously,
Yeah.
because otherwise things can get out of control. And it was a very interesting story. It was done in a very interesting way. Some typical Pakistani television nonsense in it, which okay, like there's a dramaticness of it, and there's a love story for some stuff that I was like, why? But then I was like, but if you didn't have all of that, people wouldn't watch, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
And they came under scrutiny because in this particular show, it is spoilers if you haven't watched it yet, but I'm sure people know about this. In this particular show, there is a stepfather who is trying to have his way with his stepdaughter. Okay? And it's not comfortable. No. It's not an easy watch. No. But guess what? That's kind of the point. Yeah. It is to force us to have that conversation, and they got into trouble for that reason. Then Shoaib Mansoor's... Now, I'm talking about different organizations, but I want to highlight these different examples so that we see why censorship of artists and artistry and content creators is a collective societal problem that we're dealing with. When Varna, I don't know if... I'm sure a lot of us remember that there was a movie that came out, I think 1 or 2 years ago, starring Myra Khan. It was about a young woman who's raped, and then she goes on like a revenge spree. So it was a typical rape and revenge thing, which the whole concept of a vigilante, because my thing is, yeah, but that's not a viable solution, and you're not giving people anything, So all of that is there. But I could tell that Shoaib Mansoor, as a filmmaker, really wanted to say something about the power relations that lead to this, right? And that film was banned. So there's different censor boards across the country, but one of the censor boards, and please don't I have no idea what's happening. No idea, because I read the multiple 15 articles I read, and I was just like, I'm more confused than I was when I started reading.
And that we can get to later in this conversation. Why you stop writing for that website you mentioned, the collective, and what the problem with these articles is.
Absolutely. So, but going back to that film for a minute, someone, a representative from some film board, I can't remember all of it exactly, but he was like, yeah, but the perpetrator is the son of a minister, so we have to... And I'm just like,
so you have to what?
Exactly. So you see, and I was just like, no, finish what you were saying. Yeah. Then the movie was screened.
Yeah. My thing is, we understand power relations exist.
There you go.
We understand misogyny exists.
Absolutely.
We understand nepotism exists. And all those things. Yeah. But let's at least pretend that it's a problem. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of with this as well, is that when you start going down the rabbit hole of censoring people, because I think you meant this, but maybe you meant that, I'm not sure, but where did you go, and what maybe sort of kind of are you really? Is it? I don't even know, right? When we go down that rabbit hole of censoring people, not just for what they said, but what they might have meant and what they could have said, and what this thing can become, then we are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I personally do not think that this will become a thing.
Inshallah.
Right? As I said, those of us that have resources, you'll still hear us. Inshallah. Okay? But ultimately, this mindset we need to get rid of.
Where if I disagree with what you're saying,
I'm going to censor you.
You need to shut up.
You need to shut up.
Yeah.
And even more so, I'm going to start using something as serious as, this is against our values, and this is against our culture, and this is detrimental
against our religion.
Against our religion, and use that to censor you. I remember there was this ice cream commercial. You remember that ice cream commercial that was banned?
No.
Okay. So there's this ice cream commercial, Igloo, the Pakistani ice cream company.
Sure, yeah.
They came back. I was kind of here for it because I remember when I was a kid, someone told me that Pakistan had its own ice cream company called Igloo.
Yeah.
And I was like so happy because I was like, oh, I'm never going to buy from Walls again. I'll only buy from Igloo.
नहीं, interesting tangent.
Yeah.
And I'm just interjecting because अभी आपने याद दिलाया, इग्लू का एक आता था, एक उनके आइसक्रीम कप्स आते थे.
हाँ.
उसमें एक आता था मैंगो.
हाँ.
So back when I was bulking ना, to put on a lot of mass on my frame में skinny एक बच्चा होता था. तो अब रॉकी स्टाइल में अंडे ऐसे कच्चे तो पी नहीं सकता था. तो then what I would do is I would bulk buy these ice cream cups. I'd put one in a blender, like a mango in the blender, a mango cup in the blender, one of those, and then I'd crack like 6 eggs in it.
Man, seriously?
Yeah, but it's like a mango milkshake. Sorry, gentlemen,
take some notes.
That's how you do it. Yogi Baba plug.
Shout out, okay? But what are we talking about? Yeah, Igloo, the ice cream company. Unka ek again, this is all from 2 years ago because I stopped writing that around that, a year ago rather. Unka ek commercial hai where this lady is eating a Chocbart Nama ice cream.
Sure.
Right? Like a Magnum Nama Chocbart Nama ice cream. Sure. Those typical bars with like the vanilla inside and chocolate, you know? And she's eating it in a sort of suggestive manner. Okay, now am I the only one who remembers ads like this always being part of like the popular consciousness? Sometimes they would come from our neighbors. Sometimes it would actually be a Pakistani commercial where someone is just having a really good time with a bar of ice cream for some reason. And I'm not saying that it's not suggestive. I'm not saying that it's not kind of
yeah.
But I'm saying that to ban it.
Well,
because of what they might be suggesting.
But what does the ban
accomplish?
Accomplish, right? And what purpose does it serve? If they're banning it, to show people कि अच्छा अब ऐसे जितने भी हैं, हाँ, नहीं चलेंगे.
वही ना, कैटरीना स्लाइस तो फिर भी पी रही है हमारे उस पे.
हाँ.
उसको भी बैन करो. क्यों कैटरीना, आप क्यों?
नहीं, obviously this again is a deep conversation, Mapu, about the. अच्छा हो गया.
नहीं पता है, आप यकीन करो मुझे कुछ नहीं नजर.
वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ चश्मे पहन लो, उससे क्या होता है?
कुछ नहीं. हाँ. Oh, I can see everybody.
Yeah, everything's fine now.
Yeah.
So it's a deeper conversation, and वो in a critical political economy, follow the money and all those things. कि भाई, you know, maybe certain ads just are more lucrative. Maybe they garner more attention. Who knows what this is?
Maybe they ran out of original content and recycled a Magnum ad from. This was part of the article that I wrote, by the way. Okay, there was a Magnum ad which was almost exactly like this from like 5 years ago. And Igloo was like, okay, if it's good enough for Walls, it's good enough for us. Let's just do it.
No. But different governments, right? So different.
Was it a different
or does the government not matter in this case?
Which is okay. Now I do not know exactly how this particular regulatory authority, how they operate.
I don't know how any of them do.
I do know that if your content is deemed offensive to not just the values but also the laws of the time, then you can come under scrutiny. But
yes.
But that again becomes an issue because, as you know, as in Pakistan particularly, I'm sure this happens in other countries as well, but in Pakistan for sure, if the government changes, what was deemed acceptable by one government can be completely unacceptable by the next.
Yeah.
Because they're sentiments are pretty strong as far as that is concerned.
I think one of the problems then becomes, abhi jaise maine bola na, ki I honestly don't have a clue how any of the regulatory bodies govern or regulate. The immediate response then. And obviously I haven't said this to any official, I'm not stupid, right? But अगर मैं बड़ों से भी ये गुफ्तगू करता हूँ, like मेरे बड़ों से, मैं बोलता हूँ कि सर ये कैसे होता है, their immediate response is a bit of hostility and some antagonism peppered in, and they go, well then you should find out.
That's why I'm asking you.
And I guess that's why I'm asking you. But also the whole point of regulatory bodies is, if I am doing something wrong, they'll tell me, right? So when they tell me, right, but all they tell me is you're banned, and that's it. No, but part of your I think job is then okay, ban me, absolutely. मैंने अगर कुछ गलत किया, I should absolutely be banned. That's why you exist, right? But then also tell me so that I shouldn't do it again. You see, Albert Camus, who's a French philosopher, he made this argument against the death penalty. And please allow me this liberty to make the use the metaphor of the death penalty and equate it to a ban or a cancellation. आजकल के ज़माने में cancellation बड़ी खतरनाक होती है. And kind of draw it back to what Albert Camus said. Albert Camus said कि भाई देखो, yes, give someone the death penalty, but are you absolutely certain? You want to yawn?
No.
Am I boring you?
No.
Are you absolutely?
sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Are you absolutely certain that this person, who is a human being, by the way, Picasso was a human being, Shakespeare was a human being,
Yeah.
some really great people were, guess what, people, right? So we have the propensity and the space and the potential to do truly brilliant things.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we can do brilliant things, we can also change.
Mm.
Right? So if I have this potential, then does it make sense to give me the death penalty? Similarly, if I have this potential as a creator or as the head of an organization, right? Does it make sense to ban me indefinitely without telling me what I did wrong? Because if you could tell me, maybe I could change. And again, I'm making a great assumption कि नहीं उनको बताया गया होगा. In this case, ice cream company को नहीं बताया गया होगा कि
नहीं बताया गया था उनको
oh.
कि सजेस्टिव कंटेंट है आपका, लेकिन मेरा तो इशू यही था कि यार
थोड़ी आर्बिट्रेरी थी,
बहुत आर्बिट्रेरी थी. पर उसके अलावा भी अल्टीमेटली ना मुझे पता है इशू क्या है इस पूरी चीज़ के साथ. यही है कि एक तो जो आपने जैसे चीज़ बोली कि यू हैव सो मच पोटेंशियल, इट्स अ क्रिएटिव एंडेवर, but ultimately, and I'll just bring it back to what I said initially about the economic implications and I suppose the socio-economic implications. This stifling we cannot afford as a country right now.
No,
we can't do this
simply because of the unemployment problem.
Exactly,
you mentioned,
the unemployment, the desolate kind of mindset. This is an outlet for people in a monetary sense, in a creative sense,
and also the deep anger at the disparity.
There you go.
अब आप सोचो, you and me, we were born in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Right? And we got to go and study in some of the leading institutes in the world.
Alhamdulillah.
Allah ka karam hai na, alhamdulillah. But how many people can really, say that?
Yeah.
With all in all seriousness, we have friends, but how all of us, how much do we constitute when it comes to what percentage do we constitute in the population of young people, say, in the population of people, millennials, or of people who were born in the 1990s?
Yeah.
It'll be a dismal number. It's dismissed. It's almost, not even worth mentioning. It's not. It's unfortunately, it's not significant. And so then the onus falls on us to do something truly great, right? Because it wouldn't be on us if more people were given these opportunities.
And I suppose just to bounce off of that, the thing I said initially as well, कि unfortunately one of my privileges is that I have lived for a very long time and been surrounded by a context where people are allowed to live out their true potentials. Yeah, that's actually what it is.
Yeah,
and hence when I read about stuff like this, it actually really bothers me, in case you guys are noticing. Like the glum solemn, like usually I'm like really animated.
You're just not having a good time with
no
this.
Because I suppose that's also why I was like, can we not talk about this? Because I know that it'll take me some time to process it, and inshallah tomorrow or day after I'll be back to like, let's conquer the world. But because I'm not used to this anymore, I don't know what to say to young people when they come to you and they're just like, wide-eyed, and they're just like, oh, I want to do, like, one of the things that I get a lot, because I do something that's pretty interesting. I had the communications of this accessories brand in Canada, and I do some pretty cool stuff, right? I'm really, alhamdulillah, very blessed in what I do, and it has allowed me to work with some wonderful people.
Sure, yes.
And meet some lovely people and interview some wonderful people.
Yeah.
And so when I write about these, incredible people and what they're doing, lots of people are actually inspired, and then they come to me and they're just like, I want to do exactly what that is. or when I wrote the book about Pakistani cinema, there's so many young people came up to me and they're just like, what do I do to like write a book? And I cannot understand what to say to them when the laws of the land are not allowing them to flourish. That is a dangerous, it's a dangerous situation.
I think it's also heartbreaking because this government of all the governments was supposed to be for the youth, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
एक तरीके से तो ये this was the narrative going around ना कि no Imran Khan understands, and obviously this has not even been passed, and you know, this is probably I don't know, like the working the hierarchies and all those things. I don't even know where this is on that hierarchical chain. I don't know, but I suppose, and that is also why it becomes truly upsetting that you're going to be, you're not going. There's just a barrier of entry, and Hamapu, and you know, I suppose the example you gave with the people coming up to you and how can I write a book and stuff. मेरे साथ एक what's so one funny tangent is मेरे साथ ऐसा नहीं होता है, शायद मेरी शक्ल थोड़ी जो है जहलाना लगती है, तो मेरे साथ होता है हाँ अगर तुमने लिख लिया तो फिर मैं भी लिख ही सकता हूँ या लिख ही सकती हूँ, हाँ seriously right, and I'm just like
which is the other problem in our country, right? किसी लिए खुश मत हो ना।
नहीं, मैं तो वही बोलता हूँ यार, आप माशाल्लाह बोलो और बोलो कहाँ से खरीद सकते हैं, and but most people are like you. I'm like I mean, yeah. And I suppose that also underlies a more problematic thing, which is monopolizing knowledge, right? Because my book is called Stories from Karachi.
Yeah.
Shamelessly plugged.
Mine's called The Pop Culture Guide to Pakistani Cinema.
Say na.
Amazon.
Amazon. We're trying to get into Liberty Books.
Inshallah.
Holla. Please. But anyways, so mine's called Stories from Karachi, right?
Yeah.
And there'll be people that'll come to me and be like, what do you know about Karachi? I'm like, well,
I got that as well.
Right? What do you know about pop culture?
No, please.
Please.
Have you met me? No, I got what do you know about Pakistani cinema? I was like, very little. That's kind of the point of the book, that it's about, guiding people into cinema and getting excited. Oh, did you interview people? Well, some of them, but for the most part, I wanted it to be, Oh, so have you lived in Pakistan? No, this accent comes from where?
Where do you think I'm from? Who are you?
ये बड़ा हुआ है मेरे साथ ऐसे आजकल. Sorry, I'm like completely jumping on you.
No, about what?
And in like wo. But okay, so we are from Pakistan, for those of you that don't know, very much from here. मतलब
इस किस्म के लोग आपको और कहाँ से मिलेंगे, to quote one of the great comics
Moin
Akhtar sahab,
in his wonderful show with Anwar Maqsood, which is still holds up.
Yeah, still holds up.
He was playing, spoilers, he was playing a citizen of Karachi. And Anwar Maqsood, because if you don't know what, this is kind of like a skit comedy type thing where they would, Anwar Maqsood was the host interviewing various guests, and Moin Akhtar would play all of those guests.
Yeah.
And so ek dafa Moin Akhtar was playing a citizen of Karachi.
Yeah.
And I remember Anwar Maqsood actually asking him ki Karachi mein rehte hain? And he just, in the most Karachi way ever, he's just like, nahin, Paris mein. And Anwar Maqsood's like, जी? And he's like, Paris में Champs-Élysées पर. And then he goes, अबे इस शक्ल का आदमी तुम्हें कराची के अलावा और कहाँ मिलेगा?
Exactly.
इस टाइप का आदमी तुम्हें यही मिलेगा.
Exactly.
तो इस टाइप के लोग जो यही से होते हैं. But yeah, like I used to get that a lot, but yes, you see, here's the ultimate thing. Back into my animated spirit, right? I'm getting over it. Like, scene ye hai ki we hate each other.
Yeah.
In Pakistan.
Yes,
the
we do.
name of
Unfortunately,
the podcast. We hate each other.
Yeah.
Okay? I have never, and alhamdulillah, I've had a very blessed international, global upbringing.
Yeah.
I've met people from all across the world.
Yes.
Fabulous people.
Yes.
Cannot hold a candle, okay, up to how resilient, hardworking, dedicated, talented, fearless the people of this country are. Hence, in spite of that, when we are not succeeding, people, when the economy is where it is,
because
when the polity is where it is,
because those same resilient,
yes,
creative,
yes,
powerful people एक दूसरे की टांगे काट रहे
हैं ठीक है, तुम होते कौन हो?
Sir,
Dude!
No, I mean, like, okay, I said stories from Karachi. You can write memories from Karachi or whatever. It doesn't matter. Write a book about Karachi.
Yeah.
आपको वही वाली बात है ना. But then again, here's the thing. You know how a little while back you mentioned the barriers to entry that some of these young kids have who come up to you and ask you, I wish I could write, because they actually haven't been to those universities. They actually haven't taken numerous writing courses and so on and so forth. And unke liye, I actually want to do something, right? Inshallah, and I will.
Inshallah, we all will.
We'll teach them. Yes. We'll show them, because we have to, because they are our responsibility. Agar and sometimes they're really stupid, and sometimes they really I really want to, like, just smack them, like, but in a good way. Yes. Because they're stupid, but they're my stupid and you're stupid, you know what I mean? We can't abandon them.
No,
they are stupids. And so please don't pass this law, because our stupids need to make videos.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I needed that.
Yeah.
बट बेसिकली ये सीन है कि देखो हम लोग एक दूसरे से नफरत करते हैं.
नहीं हाँ, पर सॉरी, मेरा जो जवाब था ना कि सो राइट अ बुक अबाउट कराची, बिकॉज वो जो लोग थे जो मुझे बोल रहे थे, दे एक्चुअली हैड ऑल द प्रिविलेज दैट आई हैव, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, राइट? सो आई वाज जस्ट लाइक, एक दो तीन खवातीन थी, कुछ हजरात थे, उनको तो मैंने इंडिविजुअली यही बोला. मैंने बोला तो आपको किसने रोका है?
लिखो.
मैं इंशाल्लाह कॉपी एडिटिंग सर्विसेज भी दे दूंगा, डिस्काउंट पे. फ्री नहीं दूंगा, पागल नहीं हूं मैं, सही, लेकिन मैं डिस्काउंट पे दे दूंगा आपको. लेकिन
राइट अ बुक, पे मी टू एडिट इट.
हाँ, पे मी.
सिंधी.
सिंधी का क्या मतलब है इसमें भाई? पैसे तो कमाने पड़ते हैं ना. but yeah, that's unfortunately, I won't say overwhelmingly, but that's at least 50% of the reactions that I've gotten.
Yeah.
Ki, oh, you about Karachi? Yes.
No. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What's the answer here, right? And then obviously there's been people who have been very supportive, and they said कि यार कहाँ है, हमें तो खरीदनी है. And to them I had to disappoint them कि भाई Amazon पे मिलती है. I have not unfortunately been able to get in touch with Liberty, and due in large part to my own laziness, because Alhamdulillah. Yeah. No. But
I feel like ये पूरा एपिसोड में एक अदद कैथार्टिक रिलीज होगा, क्योंकि हमने अभी ये चीज थोड़ी बहुत रिसर्च की है इसके ऊपर. मेरा यकीन है इंशाल्लाह वल खैर ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा, अल्लाह रहम करे. लेकिन
because we are their stupids, they can't do this to us.
No. And इंशाल्लाह मेरे भाई ने एक अदद जेंटलमैन का नाम लिया, एल्बर्ट कैमू. How I was introduced to this person via my brother is by way of a very interesting comment that you made about him, which I was not aware of, because I'd obviously heard the name Camus, but I didn't know that one of the things that a lot of people attribute to him is a statement that the most logical thing you can do is kill yourself, right? And my brother explained this to me because he studied philosophy at the University of Toronto. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Degree किधर है? इधर आपकी, इधर मेरी, इधर आपकी लगा दे. इधर दो किताबें, ठीक है? नहीं, लेकिन my brother was like, because he studied philosophy, he was like, what people don't realize is that Albert Camus wrote 7 books.
He wrote a series of books.
He wrote a series of books, and the actual hypothesis that he was presenting is that when you get up in the morning, because of everything that has had to happen in order for you to be born, when you get up when you open your eyes in the morning, you have already beaten the odds. So you go forth with that fearlessness.
You're waking up is the most profound act of rebellion that you could ever have undertaken.
Accomplished.
And the reason, thoda context then I'll let you continue. Albert Camus ka actually issue ye tha ki life is absurd. He was like, nothing makes sense. Right? Nothing makes sense. You were thrown into life. You didn't ask for this. You didn't, you didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose anything. Right? It's absurd. And then you're expected to live this life. It's crazy. So then the most logical thing, the only thing that would matter is if you ended it, right? But you don't, and that's what matters.
So go forth with that
So go
fearlessness.
forth with that fearlessness that you've already rebelled against the cosmos. How can you doubt yourself now that you've alhamdulillah woken up, and we obviously, because of our religiosity, we in that we kind of flow the thing कि यार देखो अल्लाह ताला ने उठा दिया मुझे, मैं उठ गया and I'm fine.
The day is yours.
Inshallah, and then it'll be mine. Yeah.
Inshallah. Yeah. And see, the thing is, this is the thing that we were talking about. We've been talking about storytelling in the popular culture. And I love the fact that this message actually resonates. Because Albert Camus was writing in the 1920s.
नहीं and ये जब Algiers में हो रहा था ना, तो I would say 60s,
1960s, 1970s. Many decades after he published his immortal words, another prolific artist, a gentleman named Snoop Dogg,
hey,
ठीक है, wrote a song in which he says, "Smile,
bitch."
ठीक है, because if you're breathing, you're achieving.
That's right.
So, damn right. So smile,
bitch.
Right, you have a lot to be smiling for.
That's right.
And I realized that these Snoop Dogg penned these lyrics, and I have all the swag of a wet kitten. But please take the message, and there are two messages here. Number one is go forth with that fearlessness. You're breathing, you've already achieved.
Yes.
We're already there.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
रुकना नहीं है.
नहीं.
ठीक है? We are all each other stupid.
Yes.
एक साथ करेंगे जो भी करना.
Inshallah. Yes.
ठीक है? लेकिन number two, Albert Camus, genius gentleman, unke words were also misconstrued. And so many have misunderstood him, not because he was saying something that was destructive, but because people misunderstood and decided that their ignorance was more important than his intellect.
Mahmood, exactly. देखो पाकिस्तान में ये होता है बड़ा issue है, and the whole context of why we were having this conversation is because we are related to some geniuses. That's why. That's why we have a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, and he's like, I've studied all of Albert Camus. I'm like, right?
Yeah.
And I'm over here.
कौन सी दीवार में कितनी दफा सर मारूं किधर
कि ये shame चला जाए, right? And but that concerned me because see these are prolific writers, no doubt, right? Potent subject matter, no doubt, but they were tackling issues that cannot be taken lightly. They were tackling issues like nihilism, like the death penalty, like metaphysics, right? So the problem then becomes is you need your knowledge before commenting or believing, it needs to be exhaustive, right? The problem is that you need to read through their work. It's not enough to read the Communist Manifesto for Karl Marx. जितना भी उनने पब्लिश किया था सारा पढ़ो, कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस मिलेंगी, उन कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस को समझो, ठीक है ना? It is a position of extreme hubris when you read one book by Camus and you're like, yeah, I basically understand, right? मेरे undergraduate में one book was not enough for me to write an essay 1500 words का.
Because there is so much to learn.
There is so much.
And मैं ये सबसे request करूँगी from the gentleman making the there's no lady on that bench.
Why?
Is there डाल देते हैं इसको, ठीक है?
क्यों?
Because I say, I'm just saying.
No, I don't know. You've assumed.
Okay, जो औरतें हैं वो मुझसे राब्ता करें, मैं आपकी बहन. I will represent you. But no, I'm just saying from the people making the laws to those being impacted by them, we cannot let our ignorance shape our future.
No.
That's not good enough.
No.
We deserved better.
Yes.
The ones after us deserve much better.
Yes.
Right? Yes. We are all each other stupid.
We really are. And dekho,
and if you're breathing, you're achieving, so let's go and achieve.
And smile, bitch. I have to say it.
Sorry.
I have to say it. Yeah, it'll be all right, inshallah. I think it'll be all right, but yeah, this hit me in the gut, and I suppose for the same reasons, because जब आप Canada में थी, मैं भी Canada में ही था, तो I think we were taking extreme liberty. We're taking extreme liberty with these freedoms. Liberty with freedom, that's redundant. But we're taking extreme liberties with these opportunities. नहीं हाँ ये तो होगा, YouTube तो होगा, YouTube पे तो मैं कभी भी वीडियो डाल सकता हूँ. But it needs to be like that ना यार, ऐसे तो नहीं करो ना आप.
और वही बात है ना कि यार देखो वैसे भी पूरी दुनिया जो है ना, पता है क्या, द मूवी वाज क्रैप, बट एक डायलॉग है जो मेरे दिमाग से निकलता नहीं है. वार एक अदद मूवी आई थी, आप लोगों को याद होगा, ठीक है. आई रिमेंबर जब उसका ट्रेलर रिलीज हुआ था ना, आई लेजिट क्राइड. This is I think around a year or 2 years before the movie was actually released, because there were lots of issues with the film. It's like the release and what have you. बिलाल लाशारी साहब को मेरी दुआएं हैं. वो हमेशा ऐसे ऐसे ट्रेलर्स निकालते हैं, I really want to watch the movie and then that movie never comes out. Or comes out like 2 years later or whatever. लेकिन क्या कहते हैं कि वार का जो ट्रेलर था, it begins with this कि पाकिस्तानी ऐसी कौम है जिसके मरने पे किसी को अफसोस नहीं होता, अब तो खुद उनको भी नहीं होता. And I kid you not, when like I still get teary-eyed. But like when they said that, no, it really hit me, because I'm like, now that is obviously an extreme manifestation of this, but that is unfortunately how we treat each other. The idea of people, like when I'm genuinely happy that a Pakistani girl goes and achieves something, anything, right? When my immediate response is not, ye to main bhi kar sakti thi. I can see people being kind of like, okay, that's okay, all right then. Matlab, we need to stop doing this. There's nothing wrong with being competitive.
No, there's nothing wrong
with that. But if you are good enough, you will not need to cut anyone else down in order to compete.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with laws that reflect the reality of our times, right?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with not being a little suspicious even about new media if that's something that you can't trust.
Yeah, that's no problem.
But educate yourself.
And right? Educate us, because it's on you to educate us.
There you go. You cannot, but वही बात है ना, I sometimes feel like, especially members of the older generation, I'm sorry, you guys don't understand us. No. And instead of trying to,
you've just dismissed us.
You dismiss us. But we are the future.
We're your future.
We are your future.
We're your
so
future.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And this is not good enough. Like I said, we deserved better. The ones after us definitely deserve better. This is not good enough. We cannot keep doing this.
No. Yeah.
Thank you and good night.
No. Oh, watch me go cry in the corner now.
अच्छा, और किसके बारे में बात करें?
नहीं बस भाई, अभी वो तो थोड़ी देर में अभी कैमरा जवाब दे देगा. जब तक नहीं दे रहा तब तक बात कर सकते हैं.
I don't know यार. But then क्या, inshallah it'll be fine.
Inshallah.
Because I actually am sickeningly optimistic.
Yes.
Usually.
Yes.
Whereby I'm, and as I mentioned before, I'm just going to say it one more time. This is not verified.
None of it is.
This might not happen.
It's hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully it's an overreaction.
Inshallah.
By two people running a podcast named P.S. I Hate You.
Yeah.
Please, the writing is on the wall.
Yeah. The branding is there.
Yes.
I designed all the art, by the way.
मैं सिर्फ वीडियो काटता हूँ.
क्या? और कुछ नहीं तो इंस्टाग्राम पे लाइक ही दे देना यार, मतलब बहन की दुआ लगेगी.
बापू छोड़ो, please stop bribing people. Stop it.
Why?
It's wrong.
I will pray for you.
They need to like us organically.
What? Who does that?
Exactly.
No, you like us, but you're stupid. That's gonna be my new hashtag.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine. We're all in this together. Go forth with that fearlessness.
Yeah. Inshallah.
You have a lot to be smiling for.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna say it one more time.
Smile.
I've already cussed so many times. Don't make me do it anymore.
Okay. Smile.
Bapu, please. Stop it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it anymore.
I was really hoping that you capitulate and just do it. Like,
what? I did already 3 times.
4 times.
Oh my god.
I was very proud of us just then.
Why are you like
oh
this?
My god.
Oh my god. All right.
What's happening? Chalo.
All right. So, like all the other episodes, the links are in the description. We are on Spotify. We're trying to get on Apple Podcasts and the Google Store. We are on YouTube, alhamdulillah, and inshallah we will continue to be on YouTube without any fees charged from us.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
I love you guys. Please take care of
I love you guys
yourselves.
as well.
Sab
You,
theek ho jayega.
you
We're all
guys
in
are
this together.
you guys are my stupid.
Where you're stupid.
All right.
That was cathartic.
Yeah, you're telling me.